Meals, and I am here today to talk about Memorial Day cookouts. If you're entertaining this Memorial Day, or even if you're going somewhere as a guest, I have lots of tips for you for making a successful cookout, basically, or cook-in kind of combo, either way. Over the years, I've hosted these kind of barbecues a bajillion times for small groups, for big groups, and I definitely sort of honed in on my favorite tips. I'm going to share them with you today. So just to start off, I'm going to, share the tips. I'm going to give you some menu suggestions. And then if you have questions, you can leave those below and I will come back and answer those. I'll probably also I will come back and put links to recipes that I refer to. So let's just sort of see how it goes, see what recipes are kind of coming into my mind, and then just know that I will come back and be adding things to the comments below that I didn't put in ahead of time, because you can't until you go live. So make sure that you check back. So just to jump in for Memorial Day, I'm going to give you my 3 top tips. My first one is to keep your menu simple. This sounds intuitive, but sometimes it's easy to get carried away with all the barbecue foods. This is our first cooking out, at least here in Minnesota. It's still not actually all that warm out. We've had a couple of nice days, and then it just wants to be cold. And so you're chomping at the bit and you're so excited to have a cookout and you're going to make all the things. But I would suggest actually not doing that and planning a menu that is pretty basic and where the items are very friendly with each other. And then leading into tip number 2, you leave some openings for your guests to contribute to your menu. And the art of having guests contribute to your menu is to have a simple menu done ahead of time with planned spaces. I like to ask guests to bring either an appetizer or a salad or a dessert, because those things travel well and that's easy for people to bring to you. And then I always try to pay the courtesy of telling my guests what the menu is so that they can pick something that really fits in there. So don't you love that when you are a guest and you get that much guidance? Here's our menu. I would love it if you brought A, B, or C. And then you can have people contribute in a way that really fits the entire menu and everything is really seamless and people feel good about what they brought. They don't feel like, oh no, you forgot to tell me that your menu was chicken and green beans and deviled eggs and I brought a salad niçoise, which is full of not chicken, but green beans and eggs, and we just totally duplicated. So anyway, keeping the menu simple is the first one. Number 2, plan for your guests and be very clear about what you would like them to bring. And then the third one is the thing that I always say. Can you guess what it is? It's work ahead, aka batch cook. I'm always encouraging you to work ahead. It's the key to life and entertaining and just having a good time at the parties that you throw. I know some of you come back and you're like, dude, I have this amazing kitchen. I want to have my guests cook in the kitchen with me, and I absolutely think that you should do that. But it's really important to know that your guests don't want to stand in the kitchen and cook for more than, 30 to 60 minutes. That's sort of the window, because the party's going on and then you're going to get interrupted all the time anyway, and people start drinking wine and it all just kind of, the wheels start to come off, certainly after an hour. And so executing an entire menu with your guests cooking with you is less than fun, but I absolutely encourage that you leave some sort of space for, if you have a great kitchen for it and people are into it, for having people do a little bit of prep with you. So you can choose, finishing off the salad or, plating the food or some other ways for your guests to contribute that don't require they miss the party and stand in the kitchen the whole time. So just keep that in mind. And the trick then is for you to be organized and plan a menu that allows you to do some cooking ahead. So I'll jump into the menu in a second and really give you an example of how this could work, both with a protein and with a salad. And then you'll see that, there's plenty of opportunity to cook with your guests too, but it's much more relaxed and you get to actually enjoy the party too. So I'm leading into that, but I also wanted to say that I am having a flash sale for Project Vibrancy meals that I'm opening today. I decided to do this because I realized it was going to be the holiday weekend, tons of indulgence, really kicking off summer. School is coming to an end, and farmers market produce is starting to show up. Maybe you have a subscription to a CSA box, where you get a box of vegetables, or, maybe you really are an avid gardener. And Project Vibrancy Meals is based on tons of fresh vegetables. It's really fun to be working with PVM and bounty of veggies, whether it's from the market or CSA or garden. So, and of course, you're going to be ready for summer. It's going to be crazy and busy, and Project Vibrancy Meals is based on working ahead on batch cooking. I have you do a batch cooking session on the weekend where you prepare some proteins and some veggies, you do some chopping, you do some cooking, cook some starch, and then have a couple of condiments that are ready to go. And then all week long, you have these really fast but very fresh and very unique meals. I never have you repeat meals in Project Vibrancy Meals. So a lot of meal prep plans have you make several servings of the same dinner. And that's fine. I actually like to eat what I had for dinner one night and then have the same thing for lunch the next day. But I don't want to keep eating that same meal over and over. To me and to many of you, that is a barrier to sticking with healthy meals. There needs to be some novelty and quite a bit of flavor to make it worth the effort, and to keep you from ordering takeout or just bailing and going to a restaurant for dinner. So that's one really important thing that's built into Project Vibrancy Meals. And then the other is that the meals during the week are just really fast. So that one batch cooking session means that you're not doing a lot of scratch cooking the rest of the week. And those two things are usually the difference between takeout and eating at home. And that is cost savings, and then also eating healthier, more nutritious food, and sticking with your healthy eating goals, whatever they might be, whether it's because you're following the autoimmune protocol and you don't want to create reactions, or if you're just hoping to eat better and be ready for the summer. So I'm going to put a link below to that. That will be the flash sale. It's only going to be for a few days, and I just decided to do it relatively last minute because I thought it would be fun post-holiday, after the hot dogs and the burgers on Monday, then you might be ready to jump into some equally delicious but healthier eating for the rest of the weeks leading into the summer. So anyway, stay tuned for that. And so kind of with those same ideas, I like to entertain using cooking ahead, really fresh ideas, really bold flavors. I like to serve my guests nutritious food. I don't actually like to entertain with the total kind of gut bomb menu. And I think that guests appreciate that. Maybe any guests of mine who have been at parties before can weigh in and say if they appreciated it or not. But I like to really carry that through. I carry it through Project Vibrancy Meals. I carry it through in my own eating. I carry it through in the way that I choose food in restaurants, and then I do the same when I'm entertaining. So I usually start entertaining by thinking about a protein, which makes sense. I like to think about a protein that I can cook ahead in part. And so one of my favorites for entertaining is doing ribs. They work really beautifully, partially cooked ahead. So I do a dry rub, and then slow bake them in the oven, and then they can be held. And then you can finish them on the grill. So you still have the fun grilling experience, but you're crisping them up on the grill, and then you have the opportunity to really brush on some sort of a spicy, sweet glaze of some sort. And that can be AIP friendly by being honey and a ton of ginger, or you can use your favorite barbecue sauce. Whatever is sort of, sounds really great to you. Just go ahead, keep it really simple, brush it on, and then you just have this pile of ribs on a big platter, and very party friendly and really fun. Kids love them. It's great finger food, and you have saved yourself a lot of hassle because you were able to work ahead with them. So there is a recipe on Fresh Tart for ribs. It's not an AIP friendly, or it's AIP friendly because you could adapt it, recipe. If I were going to use that recipe and stick with AIP, I would just eliminate the chili powder from the rubs, and I'd go with dried ginger instead, and then use coconut sugar or maple sugar for the glaze. You kind of know the drill. And then there are AIP barbecue sauces available for purchase out there, or something that you can make yourself. But it really doesn't need to be fancy. You can keep it really simple and really just do honey and fresh ginger, and that would be incredible too. So that's sort of one idea. I have another one coming up below. This sort of menu is like doing the ribs, and then the salad that I would make is I would do a slaw. Slaw is classic for a reason because it can sit on a buffet so beautifully without falling apart. My best tip for a coleslaw that can be made ahead and not turn into a watery mess is to chop all the coleslaw and then to salt it pretty heavily, put it all in a colander, put that in a bowl, cover it with a towel, and put it in the fridge overnight. And a lot of water will be drawn away from the coleslaw, from the cabbage. And that is water that would show up in the bottom of the bowl in a dressing if you didn't do that ahead of time. And so then you can taste the coleslaw or the cabbage at that point and decide. It depends on how much salt you put on it. If it tastes super salty, I would give it a rinse and then put it through a salad spinner and then go ahead and finish the slaw. If it's pleasantly salty, I would just put it through the salad spinner. You don't have to rinse it off. You can play it by ear. And then just make sure that you get the moisture off of it and then put it into a bowl. And then you can continue with your favorite coleslaw dressings. I tend to do a mayo-free slaw, especially with ribs because they're so rich. And so I like to reach for maybe a lime juice, kind of a vinaigrette, maybe with just a hint of sweetness in it because you already have the sweetness on the ribs. Definitely some spiciness, whether chilies, if you can eat them, or doing fresh ginger. And then I really enjoy doing some apple or some mango, and that contrast in texture with the cabbage and then that hint of sweet is really fun, and they can sit on a buffet pretty well. And then the trick right now, or my trick right now, is I am just so hungry for mint and basil. I am putting it on everything. And so I'm taking a salad to a party this weekend, and it will probably be chock full of mint and basil. And the beauty of that is that it can taste great with Italian food, or it can taste great with kind of a Thai or Vietnamese sort of a twist. And it can be friendly with either of those. And I just can't get enough of those flavors. So I would shower it with basil and mint, julienne chopped, and if you could eat nuts, I would throw nuts in there too. If you can't, you could consider toasted coconut if you were kind of going that Thai Vietnamese direction, because that would add crunch. I'm just looking for texture and crunch and whatever. So anyway, that's sort of some ideas for working ahead in terms of doing ribs. The other idea is if you'd rather stick with something a little bit lighter and go with chicken, certainly doing chicken kebabs and just doing a beautiful marinade of some sort, and then stringing them on kebabs ahead of time, and then you just pop them on the grill to finish. Those are always popular and always fantastic. You can thread some veggies on there or not, because you have this great salad, and maybe you've invited your guests to bring another salad that could be complimentary. And then you have this beautiful, really healthy buffet where everything is a little bit friendly with each other and nothing is a total gut bomb. But there's lots of crunch and flavor and color and all the things that are exciting to see on a buffet. So those are kind of my couple of ideas for that. I do have a souvlaki if you wanted to go kind of a Greek route. I have a pork souvlaki, which can also be chicken souvlaki, on Fresh Tart, and that is a marinade ahead of time, skewers, grill, and they're pretty foolproof with a really delicious yogurt dressing that can be dairy-free for Whole30 and AIP, or you can use dairy and do the kind of the classic. Lots of fresh herbs there, lots of dill, lots of mint, all the things that we are all craving right now. So those are just some ideas for that. And then I wanted to also mention that I was recently at the lake, at my aunt and uncle's lake cabin this past weekend, And we made steaks and we made a big salad. And this is going to tie in a little bit to the blog post I'm going to be putting up later today. I'm going to be sharing with you 2 Caesar salad dressings. One is totally AIP and egg-free. It's made with avocado. It's really good. And then the other one is kind of a shortcut that does have eggs in it. That is a salad dressing that I lean on all the time and takes 2 seconds to make. And I made that one this weekend. So my uncle grilled steaks, and we decided to just do a giant platter of greens. We boiled some eggs, sort of medium boiled some eggs, and did, just halved those and put them around. We did avocado, we did scallion or shallot, I can't remember. And then right before serving, we sliced the steak. So the steak was warm, not hot, and put that on. So you could do this on a giant platter, and then just finished it with this garlicky Caesar-y dressing. And that's not the kind of salad that can sit on a buffet for a long time, but if you assemble it right as everyone goes through the line, it is just so gorgeous and impressive looking, and then it's delicious, and everybody sort of has everything right there. And then you could supplement that with other veggies or, crispy potatoes. Actually, we put crispy potatoes on the salad. That's how we finished it. Forgot about that. So we roasted, instead of doing croutons, we roasted potatoes and put that on top. So that could maybe work for a smaller party, where even if you were all around a table and you can just have that salad in the middle of the table and be helping yourselves, it's really festive and really allows you to pull in the elements of Memorial Day in terms of grilling and salad, and the hard-boiled eggs kind of have a little, deviled egg thing going or whatever. So keep that in mind too. I don't have a specific recipe for that, but I will have those Caesar salad dressing recipes on the blog, and you could go egg-free or you could go with something that's a little bit more classic. So those are my ideas for you guys, and I hope you weigh in with any questions, or even tell me what you're planning on making. I love hearing about people's menus. So if you have a great menu planned out, let me know. If you need help deciding what you might want to make, let me know. I'll check back in the comments and answer questions. I'll be putting the link to the Project Vibrancy Meals flash sale, and then I will link up to the recipes that I have referred to here. So make sure you check back into all of those comments. Okay, you guys, have a fantastic weekend. Enjoy the holiday. And I will be back next week to talk about more things food related, cooking related, shortcuts, ways to make your life easier, etc., etc., etc. So, all right, you guys, take care. Thanks so much. Bye.